Live from Television Park in high definition, the station you count on. This is WJBF News Channel 6 at 5.
More rain means more flooding trouble. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jenny Montgomery.
And I'm John Hart, in for Brad tonight. Heavy rain continues across the area at this hour. We can hear it coming down at Television Park. And so we've seen a lot of scenes like this week. This is North Augusta after heavy rains came through Sunday evening. People living in the Groves apartment complex dealing with several feet of water in their apartments. Many of them are still cleaning up.
Some of the renters who lost all of their belongings to flood damage were shocked to learn that they'd be paying the hefty replacement costs out of pocket. News Channel 6's Ashley Bridges got the answers all renters need to know. She joins us now with more.
Jenny, I met one young woman working hard to build her future and trying to be responsible and do everything right, but in her checklist in her first home, she missed something. Something, to be honest, that I've missed too, and there's an important lesson here to learn. Monday, I met Shamura Davis sitting distraught outside her door. The rains came and flooded her apartment.
I'm only 5'2", so it was like about mid-thigh on me, the water was.
Everything she owned was damaged, but when her and her neighbor's belongings became covered with water and sludge, she thought they'd be covered by renter's insurance.
We do require renter's insurance as, part of living here so that everyone's personal belongings are covered.
Unfortunately, that's incorrect.
But your homeowner's insurance policy does not cover flood damage.
That goes for renters, too.
They at least should have said that to get flood insurance just in case, because it happened before or whatever the case may be.
All flood insurance must be purchased separately, and it's important to have because rising floodwaters mean rising cost.
Well, it could be in the thousands of dollars. A flash flood can create a whole lot of damage.
Neighbors are seeing each other fight to stay above water with the cost of that damage.
That's the depressing moment, but they just pray to God that everything turns out okay for them.
But they can't imagine what it would be like to start over themselves.
No, couldn't imagine doing that. That's a lot of work.
And once the rain starts coming down, it's too late to sign up.
After the fact, it's too late. Like it is with any other catastrophe. Once that happens, then it's a very sad situation for a lot of people.
The agents I spoke with raised a very important point. While an area like the Groves has flooded repeatedly, flash flooding by definition comes in a flash, anywhere. You don't have to be near water to become a flood victim, so you should be aware. Jenny?
Well, for those who are still cleaning up the floodwaters from Sunday, the forecast is not good news. And George Myers is here now to deliver the bad news for those folks.
Yeah, the folks have been suffering from flooding. This is not good news at all, as you said. We do have a area of low pressure rolling out of the tropics, which will bring us some substantial rain for tomorrow, especially if it tracks further inland than expected. Take a look at our current radar. You'll see light to moderate showers across the metro area. We circled the area where the heaviest rain is coming down right now. That is in the Barnwell-Allendale area. First, we'll zoom into the metro. You'll see light showers from Thompson to Augusta to Aiken. No severe weather here. We'll slide south just a bit and you'll see some very heavy rain between Barnwell and Allendale counties. This is slowly sliding north. So the city of Barnwell, you're going to get good and wet in the next few minutes or so. And as you take a look at our forecast coming up for tonight, we'll see the showers gradually diminishing as we head towards 10 o'clock and midnight. But as we press towards tomorrow, out of the Gulf is coming some tropical weather. We'll tell you about that in just a few minutes.
All right, George, all this rain actually causing a flood of business at Lake Thurmond. The lake hasn't been at full pool level since 2009. Those lower than normal levels had caused a decrease in business. Today, the levels are just half an inch from full pool. Clearly, our producer knows that's the most difficult thing in my repertoire to say. Anyway, the visitors have been pouring into the area as a result.
We've had a couple of campgrounds that opened up in March, early April this year that have already had as many visitors come in those 2 months as came all of last year.
Now, coming up tonight on News Channel 6 at 6, see how the lake levels have affected local businesses this year.
For many in Augusta, once is not enough. New trash service kicked off Monday, and it has the city and city leaders fielding dozens and dozens of complaints. The biggest is the end of twice-a-week pickup. WJBF News Channel 6's George Escala is in the newsroom tonight. George, city leaders say they are getting an earful about the change.
Yeah, it seems hundreds, maybe thousands of Augusta garbage customers are longing for the good old days of trash service, which in this case would be last week. Garbage service has been cut to once a week, but the fees are the same. Many want to see service levels return, but that comes at a price. It's what we now say to the trash truck. See you next week. It's all new for 88-year-old Curtis Chafin.
Older people don't like change, but the 2 days, I didn't use it but 1 day a week anyway.
So it's okay?
So it's okay with me.
But it's not okay with thousands in the Garden City.
I've gotten numerous phone calls from people saying that they want twice a week service.
Absolutely, it wasn't broke. I don't see any reason to fix it. We have the ability to deal with this situation. I find it reprehensible that we're charging the same amount for half the service.
When bidding the service last year, landfill officials did include the price of twice a week service. So if you want to see that garbage truck on your street 2 times a week, it's going to cost you an extra $50 a year. And despite the complaints from customers, some commissioners believe that cost is not worth it.
If we didn't want to get an exorbitant pay hike as far as services, I think it's the best deal. I mean, other cities have used it. I think we were kind of spoiled with the 2 times a week.
Augusta's 311 information line is getting, quote, a high volume of calls about trash service. But Chafin is one who doesn't want to see the call made to go back to twice a week pickup with its extra $50 price.
I don't need any more charges. I can barely afford to pay the charges that I have now.
So you just want to pay for 1 day a week?
1 day a week.
Commissioners are scheduled to revisit the trash issue next week. By then, all of Augusta's 60,000 plus garbage customers should have had their trash picked up at least once. Jenny, back to you.
One of Augusta's garbage haulers is urging residents to recycle by giving them something in return. Advanced Disposal has set up a website where customers can set up an account and be given rewards based on how much they recycle. The website requires customers to create an account, but that's free. We do have a link where you can do that on our website. Just go to WJBF.com.
Now, when it comes to ethics in the Augusta Commission, this is just the ticket. Commissioner Marion Williams saying that Alvin Mason and Mayor Pro Tem Corey Johnson should step down from the Commission's ethics subcommittee. That is because each accepted tickets from a city contractor for pro sporting events in Atlanta.
If you're in question, how can you make a decision on somebody else who may not be in question? So I think, not to say anybody did anything, but I think we had to, those people ought to recuse themselves. They ought to be men enough to say, hey, you know, I think I ought to set aside, I ought not to be a part of this.
And as we told you yesterday, commissioners have not violated the city ethics code, which specifically says elected officials can accept tickets as a courtesy.
An Augusta Nightclub is on probation for the next year. Augusta commissioners voted last night to suspend the license for Skittles for 90 days and place it on a 1-year probation. Richmond County deputies say a professional stripper was dancing nude with a 16-year-old who was also naked.
Gold Cross going to stay on board as the ambulance service provider for Augusta. Commissioners voting last night to renegotiate a new contract with the company. They voted in February to end the contract with Gold Cross and seek proposals from other ambulance companies. Those proposals were scheduled to be opened this month, but last night's vote ended that process. The process to redevelop the old King and Sibley Mills has started. $300,000 approved last night to breathe new life into the mills. Commissioners hope Georgia Regents University will use those buildings as dorm and classroom space. City leaders now need to come up with the money to begin that work.
A piece of prime riverfront property now belongs to Augusta's Riverkeeper for the next century. City leaders approved the lease for 14 acres off Prep Phillips Drive. The Riverkeeper is seeking grants to clean up the land and plans to create kayak and canoe trails on the river. The original motion was for a 50-year lease, but it got changed at the last minute to 100 years.